Hi, it's Jan Beta, and today I want to take a closer look at the new Amiga keycaps available from A1200net. Which finally gives me the opportunity to finish the looks of this Crystal Amiga 500. The Crystal Clear Case I made a video about a while back was a limited edition, also from A1200net. And I planned on putting new keycaps on this one, but they weren't available at the time. So now is the time. These keycaps started out as a Kickstarter campaign way back, several years, I'm not even sure when. And then that Kickstarter finished and there was a secondary Indiegogo campaign, I think in 2019. That's when I backed these and they have finally arrived. So this is in no way endorsed or sponsored or anything like that by A1200.net. I backed these just like anyone else on Indiegogo and they finally arrived. As I understand, the production started with the keycaps in black and white. There were also several other colors available in the Indiegogo and the Kickstarter. Some of the Kickstarter ones have already been manufactured. There were numerous problems with manufacturing and quality control and things like that. I don't want to go into in detail in this video. I'm pretty sure that the A1200net people did what they could, and there's been a lot of hate directed at them for this, understandably, because the delay is kind of hilarious at this point. But they delivered this, and the other colors are going to be delivered soon, I hope. So without further ado, let's take a look at this and then see what I can say about this. So I ordered a set of black keycaps, and these are the DE layout, German layout, Deutschland layout, which is exactly what I need. In the box we have a keycap puller. We have 1,000,000 springs for all the keys. That's pretty nice. And we have 2 different lengths of space bars. We have these little clips which are for hooking into the metal brackets that are under some of the larger keys. We have 2 packs of these. And I think we have the keycaps themselves. Oh yeah, some of them already came loose. So let's get these out. Oh, look at that. Some of them already came off. The 7, the V, one of the arrow keys. Okay, and I can already see something's gone completely wrong here on my keycap set, I think. Some of the keys are in completely wrong spots here, but I think they are all here. We have the quartz. Quartz is the German layout, that's correct. But we have the 4, I think, from the number pad here, and the 5 from the number pad. We should also have a 6 somewhere, I hope. I'm not sure. There's the 6. That's kind of odd. And we have some of the letters that are missing here, over here. So it's going to be a bit of a puzzle. That's kind of a funky layout here. I hope all the keys are there. We have 2 different sizes of enter keys. Plastic quality feels super nice. Oh, these are super stuck on here. Not easy to take them off. The quality of the plastic seems to be excellent. And the print looks good. It's a tiny bit fuzzy. This has some scratches here. But otherwise, it looks good enough. I think there's some minor dents in these keys and things like that, but nothing too serious. They all look pretty nice. The printing is pretty thick, so it's protruding a tiny bit. Yeah, I'm not sure if I can make this visible in any way, but look at that. Yeah, you can probably see that the white is protruding quite a bit over the key. Look at that. So it's a pretty thick, you can actually feel it. So yeah, that's kind of odd. That's unusual. I don't know if they are screen printed or I think they are like stamped on here with a kind of sponge. That's how you print keycaps. I'm not sure about the exact technicalities of that, but it's a pretty thick layer of paint on here. That's kind of not like the originals, but I don't mind that. And apart from some of these being slightly dislocated, I can't see any real quality issues except for some of the smaller font on here is a bit washed out actually. Look at the caps lock key, I think that's the one that's worst. So not sure if that translates on camera, but it looks a bit washed out on the caps lock key. Let's take a look at the old keyboard in comparison. So this is the original Amiga keyboard, and maybe you can see these are actually covered in plastic, so these are glued on. The print's not washed out on these. That's probably one of the advantages of this technique over the sponge printed ones that the other ones probably are, or screen printed ones. Otherwise, the size and the type looks pretty much exactly the same. We have some differences in the sizes of these arrows on the shift keys here. These are a bit bolder, these are a bit thinner, and the Amiga key has a bigger Amiga logo on it than the original one here. But they do look pretty amazing. And there's some keys are double because there are various sizes of keys on different Amiga keyboards, and this goes for, I think, the A600, the A1200, the A500, different sized return keys even. So some Amigas have this key here missing depending on the keyboard layout, and they just included all of that in here. Oh, one thing that I just caught is this. So you can see these brackets here, and yeah, this one is kind of upside down compared to this one, whereas the key has the slant like this one. So this is the one that goes in this position, clearly in this orientation, but it has the symbols printed on it upside down. So that's kind of a bummer. So usually you would get this if you pushed shift and this. Yeah, and this key is not going to represent that accurately. That's not very ideal, I'd say. It's not a huge deal breaker, but still, wow, okay, somebody missed that. That's not good. Maybe somebody had a bad day at quality control. I'm not sure, but no complete deal breaker. These are still going to look amazing on this keyboard, hopefully. But that's about all I can see after closely inspecting this. Other than that, I'm pretty confident that these are well made. They feel nice with the thicker print. Time will tell if this is going to rub off. Probably won't, because these were made by a keyboard manufacturer that usually does PC keyboards, probably mostly. So they should be good enough quality at least. And they should probably, hopefully, fit the key stamps on this keyboard, which is the Mitsumi hybrid variant of the Amiga keyboards. There are some other variants that these keycaps are not going to fit on at all because they have different mechanisms and different holding mechanisms also for the keys. So this is only going to fit these Mitsumi hybrid keyboards, which are, I think, the most widespread variant of the Amiga keyboards anyway. So chances are, if you have an Amiga 500, 2000, 1200, you're going to have this mechanism, the Mitsumi one, that is going to work with these. replacement keycaps. Let me take a couple of seconds to thank the sponsor for this video, PCBWay, my favorite manufacturer of prototype PCBs of all kinds. They deliver excellent quality. You can send them the files of a PCB you designed at home and they are going to produce it professionally in no time, basically. Very high quality. They also offer CNC machining and 3D printing services, all of which are of the highest quality. Delivery is fast and the people are super friendly to work with, so I highly recommend checking out the link in the video description. Back to the Amiga keyboard. So without further ado, I think I'm going to have to take the keyboard out. You could probably pull this off with this still in the case, but I'm not going to risk damaging this case. So I'm going to take this apart, take the keyboard out and put the keycaps on the old keyboard assembly. These cases, the crystal cases, are no longer available. They were a limited run, but you can still get replacement cases in several colors, also translucent ones that are not completely clear, but you can still get these, thankfully. And they are also delivering black Amiga 500 cases now. And according to some posts on social media, they are actually arriving at people's homes. The same goes for the A1200 cases, which have been available for a while now from several resellers. So that should be all the screws, I think. There we go. We're going to have to remove this plug. And we're going to take out the keyboard. And now it's basically just going to be a matter of pulling each of these keys and putting the new ones in. I think I'm going to try to keep the original springs in here because they should all be here. This is a fully functional, complete keyboard. Yeah, these are basically going to be spares, I think, for me. You could, of course, just get a completely destroyed keyboard, basically, with all the keycaps missing, and you have most of the parts you need to replace these keys. It's missing the metal brackets that go under some of the larger keys in the kit, so you need those from the original keyboard. But other than that, we should have everything we need. Let's try this keycap puller. How good is that? So basically what you do, you clip this under the key on separate sides here, diagonal. That's how I do it anyway. And then you wiggle it loose and off it goes. And as you can see, the inside looks pretty much like what we've seen on the new keys. And I'm just going to go in and replace each single one. So I have been warned that these are on this holder here pretty tightly, but I was able to pull the escape key off without any issues with my fingers. So you might need some pokey bit to get those off, but I think I'm going to be fine. Yeah, the print is not very good compared to the original, not very crisp, but it's going to work. And nobody is going to notice except for me, close up to the keyboard. But yeah, hey, the key fits fine. The old original spring seems to work fine. I think we're good to go. I got myself a container for the old keys. I'm definitely going to hold on to those, of course, because they are original Commodore parts. I'm just going to do the whole thing, making sure that I replace each key with the one that's supposed to go in that position, hopefully. Just going to stop talking and do it. Here's another slight difference. This key with the dash, and I don't know what this symbol is called technically, but they are quite different on this key. And they are also slightly at an angle, which is pretty visible on this line there, which should be a straight line. This is basically what it looks like when you type it in most fonts. So another minor issue, they kind of add up. This is going to look super nice in the end, though, generally. And they're really not that easy to take off the holder here, but it works out. So now we have, I think, the first key with the clip. Yep. So we want to be extra careful with these. Don't pull them up the whole way. This tab key, the shift keys, the space bar, the enter key here, and the 0 on the numpad here. They have these retaining clips. Let me show you a close up. So these larger keys have these metal retaining clips here that you can barely see. Yeah, maybe you can see it here. These are clipped into the plastic part of the keyboard assembly in a way that they slide into some hook-shaped plastic parts. And you want to push them out gently, like this, to unclip them. These easily break off. And these are in the keys. There are these white plastic parts, which we also have replacements for. And these should fit the new keys. Probably could reuse the old ones. You can unclip these. These are just like these C-shaped objects. So this is what these look like. And these don't come with the new keycaps, so you need the old ones. So I'm going to see what we have here and put these plastic clips in. We have 2 bags of these, different ones. Oh, okay, we have different shaped ones. So for these small keys, we need these. Probably for other keyboards, you need these. Maybe these are the ones on the spacebar on this keyboard. We're going to see. But these seem to correspond to these here. And these should fit in these indentations here, in the orientation they were in the old keys, which is not an easy task. There we go. Yeah, okay, these go in rather easily. So our retaining clip should go in here like so. Just hook it in these holes here. And you can bend it slightly outwards and hook it into the other one. Yeah, there we go. And that should hopefully go back into the keyboard. And I should be able to use my screwdriver to push it into the little clips. I'm gonna get a bit creative here because you have to, of course, have the spring in there, and you have to clip this in, and you have to get the key in the correct position. Usually you can angle it in a way so it works. Let's see if I can make it. Oh, look at that. I put the mechanism in the wrong way. We had this the wrong way. Yeah, they feel a bit stiff at first. I think there was some lubricant on there originally. Yeah, but that should work good enough. Okay, so that's how you do these clips things. Let's continue. Okay, and on it goes. Yeah, the caps lock key is pretty much manufactured in the exact same way, in that there is a translucent plastic inlay in there. with a little window that lets the light through. So that is very much on point, I think. That's pretty well done. So the spacebar is basically the same as the other larger keys, but it has 3 springs. And also the retaining clip doesn't want to come out. So this has a larger metal retaining clip here. And it also has 3 differently sized springs underneath. These are smaller ones and one bigger one. I think probably the smaller ones should be in here as well, but I can't see them because they're all entangled. We're going to have to figure that out later. I'm just going to go with the original springs. And yeah, that's indeed where we need the other clips, I think. These are shaped differently. And we have these as replacements, which should have the holes in the right spots, hopefully. And we have 2 spacebars to choose from here. Probably need the longer one. Yep. Yeah, these are slightly different in shape. Yeah, they look to have the indentations in the correct position. Yeah, that should probably work. So let's see if we can finagle that in there with these new clips. You could, of course, probably just use the old clips as well, which have the same fit. Yeah, this is the trickier bit. Okay, that went relatively well. And it was probably out of frame slightly, but I managed to get the metal clip under the clips, and the spacebar fits pretty nicely. So, the remaining keys. Okay, another problem is that we're out of these little white clips of this size. We have plenty of these other sized ones. There's actually one in there that is the size we would need, but it's still not enough for all the keys. So probably they miscounted these. That's kind of shoddy. So I'm just going to try to use the original ones from the 0 key on the numpad, which is the last one. It has this type of connector. Yeah, and they actually go in. So they are the same size, and you can use the original ones, which actually do have a bit of silicone grease on them, so the keys can travel easier. Yeah, with the original ones, the travel is much easier, so that would have been a good idea to use those. Although they do start working after you hit them a couple of times. Some of these appeared to be stuck a tiny little bit, but they are not anymore, it seems. So let's put the arrow keys in and then we're done. There are several to choose from. This seems to be the correct one. So you have to match these up with the ones you actually need. They are all kind of differently shaped for different keyboard configurations. For the A600 namely, probably. because that has the arrow keys in a different spot. So this should be this one? No. This one is this one. Okay. Yeah, there we go. That's the correct ones. Okay, not too bad. So all in all, it does look pretty nice. It's an Amiga keyboard all in black. So it does look kind of amazing, even if there are some flaws, some production things that are a bit off. Some of the print is at a slight angle, but it's not really very noticeable if you have it all together. So that's kind of a minor thing in my opinion. What I'm worried about are these brackets here that are definitely in the wrong orientation. So that's, I don't know how they missed that. And the other thing that I should be super critical about is that they didn't include enough of these. I'm not sure what that's all about. Quality control had a bad day, maybe. So I'm still going to put this in the crystal case to see the whole thing. And it should look pretty ace, I think. So let's do that. I did want to check if they included the springs for the spacebar though. So let's have a look at these. 1,000,000 springs! Doesn't look like there's smaller ones in here. But they could, of course, be entangled in the bigger ones. So I went through the effort of untangling all these, and as I suspected, the smaller ones that are under the spacebar here are not included. So I'm pretty sure that you could make it work with these sizes as well, but it's not the original fit. So yeah, that's kind of another bummer. Okay, let's put this in the crystal clear Amiga case and marvel at its beauty. The manufacturing of the plastic itself is excellent. I can't say anything wrong with that. Although the fit is a tiny bit looser than the original keycaps. So these are not sitting as tightly in the clips as the originals. They are easier to pull. I don't know if that's bad. They are not falling out or anything, but just wanted to point that out. They are a tiny bit thinner, it seems, the stems on them that clip into the key mechanisms. This is going to look great, I hope. I think there's also some options for clear keys that are going to be shipped eventually. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with these, I think. In this, yeah, definitely looks better than the yellow keys that were in here before. Nice! Okay, it does look pretty amazing in my opinion. And actually the keys that appeared a bit stuck, like this larger shift key, worked themselves free mostly. So it feels a bit different than the original keyboard. Actually, it's better plastic, I think. Feels a bit nicer on the touch. The surfaces are a bit rough, like they used to be on the original keys. That's very nice. It just feels like an original keyboard, but it looks way different. And I think the black goes really well with the translucent cases, even if they're not the crystal variant of the case. This just looks kind of amazing. Of course, there are going to be other color choices. I'm looking forward to see the first builds with kind of funkier keycap colors. This is a bit conservative, admittedly, but I like it like that. Pretty happy with this, even if it has some minor flaws. Let's see if this Amiga still boots up with the new keyboard. Why wouldn't it? But yeah, let's still boot this up. Let's see how the caps lock key looks. Ooh, nice. That looks super nice, actually. Look at that. That looks ace. With the black key and the red LED in there. Okay, so what's my verdict about this? It does look super nice, no way around that. There are some flaws. The printing quality is not the very best. The plastic seems to be absolutely flawless, except for some little nicks, but they are not really... I can't even tell which key I pointed out at first, at the beginning of this video. It looks like a new black Amiga keyboard that was manufactured for the Amiga, which it is. The main point of criticism is the little brackets that are in the wrong spot here. They could have included the little springs for the spacebar, and they should have included more of these brackets for the metal retaining clips. There was a miscount on there, and they should really have paid attention to those brackets. But other than that, this is kind of amazing. And it's amazing that this exists at all at this point in time for the good old Amigas. So I'm pretty happy with it overall, and I can recommend it. Super glad that they finally came through with the keycaps and that they are not a complete failure. These are kind of amazing. And I think the other colors and the other colors of the cases are going to make for some really awesome Amiga builds that I am looking forward to seeing on social media. I think there's not much more I can say about this. Obviously this works as a keyboard because it was a working keyboard. Can reset and things like that. Everything works just as it should with an Amiga keyboard, and it feels like the original wobbly membrane keyboards did, but with better quality keycaps in the end. The plastic feels a bit better than the old original keycaps. Yeah, I think that's it for today. I hope you can successfully replace your keycaps with some new funky color or a white or a black keyboard that should be available at this point in time. As far as I know, these are going to be available to buy regularly without backing any Kickstarters or Indiegogo campaigns soon. So looking forward to seeing your builds. Thank you so much for your support on Patreon and on the channel memberships page, and also on Ko-fi. The links to that are in the video description. Anyway, that's it for today. I'm Jan Beta. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.